whether you are in a job or whether you are in a self-profession or you are running your own startup or your own entrepreneurial journey, entrepreneurial mindset becomes extremely important for anybody and everybody. And that's the construct that all of us should keep that in mind. Hi, this is Sushil Mungekar. In last 24 years of my career being a professional in corporate or being an entrepreneur and working on my own startups, and then coming back in education and working on nurturing entrepreneurial mindset, one thing I realized that our education system needs a definite and a constructive and immediate change. This channel is mere a way of connecting a parent in me with a parent in you. Most of us would agree that whatever we learned during our education system, we rarely use that in our professional careers. On the other hand, whatever we do in our professional careers, we have rarely learned that in our education system in a formal way. So this gap needs to be bridged. There are so many tools that we use during our professions which we feel, oh fish, I would have learned this kind of tools when I was a child itself, it could have been far better. That was the eureka when I really thought that can we pick up some of those tools and bring it back to students so that they start preparing themselves, their mindset well in advance, so that this can help them to be successful in any career that they take. That's the genesis of this masterclass. And that made me come back with 12 essential tools which I strongly believe have really helped me in terms of my career. And not only that, I've seen whenever successful people have built their careers, they've used this kind of tools. So here is the first and the foremost, the most important I would call as a tool, and that's entrepreneurial mindset. Often in our day-to-day life or in our day-to-day conversations, we get confused between entrepreneurship and business. While entrepreneurship is a far bigger encompassing term than a business. And if one has to define entrepreneurship very precisely, I would actually go back to the definition of Howard Stephenson from Harvard Business School. And he says that entrepreneurship means pursuit of opportunities beyond resources control. In 3 phrases, he has actually defined entrepreneurship so beautifully. So it doesn't talk about business, money, making profits and stuff like that. It talks about identifying an opportunity without even caring what kind of resources you have, and then having a pursuit to actually pursue that opportunity. And in this context, if you look at entrepreneurship, then talking about entrepreneurial mindset makes a lot of sense, because entrepreneurial mindset then helps you to look at things in a larger perspective where you can look at larger opportunities and then go for solving those. Number 2 important thing is often in the context of professions or in the context of careers, we are always bound by job-centric mindset. My friends, doing a job is not bad, but having a job-centric mindset, that is for something to prove to others that I am worthy and therefore somebody should pick me up and for which I should be paid continuously, that's the mindset that we should get out of. Knowledge, skills and mindset. So whatever knowledge that you have, whatever skills that you actually acquire, but what is more important is the mindset that you actually use the skills and the knowledge, and that's why it becomes very important for having this kind of a mindset. Let me now start and build a construct of where the entrepreneurial mindset comes and why that becomes an important tool. For anybody to earn money in any kind of an environment, one has to be a part of a complete financial ecosystem that is happening. And the basic genesis of a financial ecosystem is a transaction which is happening between a buyer and a seller, what we call as a consumer. And that product or a service that is sold to them, the money gets generated, and that money in terms of a profit or wages or salaries or fees are distributed to the entrepreneur, to the person who is working with an entrepreneur as a salary, or to the person who is working with an entrepreneur as a self-professional in terms of fees. And therefore it becomes extremely important for everybody in this ecosystem to understand exactly what their consumer needs and what they want. And that is where the entrepreneurial mindset comes in. So whether you are in a job or whether you are in a self-profession or you are running your own startup or your own entrepreneurial journey, entrepreneurial mindset becomes extremely important for anybody and everybody. And that's the construct that all of us should keep that in mind. Let's now understand entrepreneurial mindset in an extremely layman language, and I'm being layman in this entire field. I would like to actually define it rather than getting into theories. There are 2 important elements within entrepreneurial mindset. Number 1 is ability to dream big. When you look at ability to dream big, it's not in isolation. It has 4 important components. Number 1 is one has to have a clear self-reflection, understanding what you're good at, understanding what you love, understanding what you are not good at, because that is where you can trigger where you need to improve, or also you can trigger where you need to collaborate. So therefore self-reflection becomes extremely important. While you are doing self-reflection, there is also a context that is very important, is a world around you, because your self-reflection cannot be in isolation. You also need to understand the world around you. And the world around you can be as small as the city or a colony that you stay, or as big as the complete civilization across the globe. So these two factors really impact how you dream big. And there are two more important factors for dreaming big. One is to have a future orientation, how the future is going to unfold in front of you. And with this respect to the future, the fourth important point is how do you manage these changes? How do you see these changes coming, and how do you react to those changes? If you look at these four components and start working on these four components independently, collectively you can strengthen your ability to dream. Let me come to the other side of the spectrum, which is need for achievement. How do I achieve the dream that I have seen? Again, there are four important components of this. Number one is your ability to identify problems around you, and that really comes from your understanding of world around you. Number two is recognizing opportunities. As you understand how the future is going to unfold, you also start deriving how these problems can be then converted to opportunities. So there are great linkages between the two. Number three is coming up with creative ideas. I have always said that every human being is creative and analytical at the same time. It's unfortunately we do not use that creative in a larger sense. So how do I use that creativity in terms of coming up with innovative solutions to the problem that I've identified, to the opportunity that I have identified? And the last and the most important point is how do we then create a value for the user or for anybody who needs that value? And that's where your self-reflection, what your passion is, what you're good at, what are your strengths, how do you convert your strengths, your passion in terms of building that kind of a value to the user. Now, if you look at all these 8 things in perspective, you would realize the construct of entrepreneurial mindset. Honestly, nothing out of this is difficult to achieve. In a day-to-day life, in some way or the other, we keep doing this. But if you start doing this in a constructive manner, if you start doing this in an orchestrated manner, we actually can achieve entrepreneurial mindset. And once you have this kind of entrepreneurial mindset, you will practically have a steering of your career in your own hand. You can actually decide. So whether, again as I said, whether you do a job, whether you do an entrepreneurial stint, whether you hop from a job to entrepreneurship and an entrepreneurship to a job, you will build a great sense of purpose to your entire career. And let me go beyond careers as well. The life doesn't end at career. You have so many things to manage in your social life. You have social life, you have relationships to manage. You can start looking at all these things from an entrepreneurial mindset and you will be there. I hope you like the conversation in this masterclass, and if yes, then please like, subscribe and comment in the section below.